mean? What does it practically look like? And then we showed you how you yourself can actually start using DeFi, particularly with the Binance Chain wallet, with the Trust wallet, and that allows you to start earning passive income, to start acting as a market maker, to start providing liquidity, to start farming tokens. So if any of this sounds foreign to you, you need to go and rewatch day one. And we actually capped day one off with an amazing session from Corey from France. And Corey actually showed us how to create our very own NFT. I know it's amazing. So if you missed day one, you need to go and catch that recap. But today we are here for day two of our DeFi and Binance Smart Chain Masterclass. So what is the agenda like for today? Well, yesterday we touched on some of the newer parts of DeFi, right? Things like farming, yield farming, providing liquidity, being a market maker. But DeFi is so much more than just the hype that's going on in the moment. In fact, a lot of us have either already heard about one of the biggest DeFi applications, so to speak, and many of us may have even used it and use it on a daily basis. And that is peer-to-peer trading. So yes, peer-to-peer trading is a form of decentralized finance. So today we are going to take you through what is peer-to-peer trading, why is it important, what is it useful for, as well as how do you practically get started becoming a P2P trader and trading on P2P. And to do that session, we have the amazing Bashir Aminu with us, who you all know very, very well. But before I hand over to the brilliant Bashir, a lot of you would have remembered from yesterday, if you didn't, well, lucky to you, that there is not $500, that was my mistake, there is $5,000 of Trust Wallet token up for grabs. And the great thing is, it's not a lucky draw. So the first 100 people to complete the task that I'm about to drop in the chat, share that $5,000 pool equally. So all you've got to do to get your share of that $5,000 pool is you've got to withdraw 5 times in the next week from your Binance account to your Trust wallet using the Binance Smart Chain Network or the BEP20 BSC option. So all you've got to do is make 5 withdrawals. You can even withdraw the same token back and forth 5 times on the Binance Smart Chain Network between your Binance account and your Trust Wallet app or your Trust Wallet wallet, and give us the transaction hash of each of those 5 transactions. And if you're one of the first lucky 100 people to complete it, no strings attached, you get your share in that $5,000 pool. So check the chat. I will drop this form regularly throughout the session, but enough of DeFi and NFT. We are now moving on to the OG application of DeFi, and that is peer-to-peer trading, better known as P2P. And to blow our minds on this topic, we have with us today, like I said, a senior member of the Binance Africa P2P team, Bashir Aminu. Bashir, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi guys, can everyone hear me?
We can hear you perfectly, Bash.
Yeah, sorry I'm unable to put on my video at the moment, but yeah, it's gonna be an amazing session. We're gonna talk about P2P trading and how it began, the history of it, like as the first decentralized application. Right now we hear a lot about DeFi and DeFi, but the most simple form of decentralized finance is peer-to-peer trading. So we're gonna be covering a lot of that today. Yeah. Hi, Brenton.
Hi, Bash. Yes. Please feel free to go ahead.
Okay.
So you can start straight away with your first section, which is an intro to peer-to-peer trading. So for all of us newbies out there, what is, these people keep mentioning P2P. What is P2P, Bash?
Yeah, I mean, it's as simply put, it's person-to-person transactions, peer-to-peer, person-to-person. So it means that there's no middleman in that particular transaction. It's happening directly between 2 individuals, person-to-person, right? So, they're basically, when we now come to, in the case of cryptocurrencies, there are electronic money transfers, that are made from one person to another person. Now, when the Bitcoin white paper first came out, it was titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer decentralized software or decentralized technology, right? So the first application of Bitcoin was as a peer-to-peer decentralized technology. So after that, we've begun to see a lot more advanced applications of it, like with decentralized finance, like with farming, NFTs, all those other kind of things. But in the beginning, when we got started with the whole decentralization thing, when Bitcoin first came out, it was all about P2P, right? So so from the beginning, the way people used to do P2P trading with Bitcoin was, hey, it was like through trust, right? That means in the early days, what used to happen is you would say, hey, okay, I trust this person, right? I just want to be able to trade with this person because I trust the person, right? So what would happen in that P2P trade would be I would send the person money into their bank account. Let's say I want to buy 1,000 USD, a thousand USD worth of Bitcoin, for example. I'll send that $1,000 directly to that person's account, and then the person will send me Bitcoin. Yeah. So that was like the in the early days before we started having things like escrow services. So I mean, if you go through Bitcoin Talk, I mean, who remembers Bitcoin Talk, right? But if you go through Bitcoin Talk, you see a lot of use cases of escrow services that were popping up on Bitcoin Talk. So what will happen is, hey, somebody would come on Bitcoin Talk and say, hey, I want to buy $1,000 worth of BTC, right? And then a trusted person, a trusted moderator on Bitcoin Talk would be the escrow in that particular transaction. So let's say somebody like what's the name of this guy now? Still Not Himself, and was one of the very popular Bitcoin guys in the early days, was doing a lot of escrows for a lot of transactions, worth millions of dollars back in the day on Bitcoin Talk. So what will happen in that particular escrow transaction would be that hello, can you guys hear me? I can hear
Yeah,
people
Bash, we
saying.
can hear you now. I think we just lost you for a second.
Okay. So yeah, so you had people like Still Not Himself doing escrow transactions for people then, and then the reason why people used him as an escrow is because he was a trusted third party, right? So people would send their Bitcoin to Still Not Himself, and then he would hold the transaction until the other party fulfilled that particular transaction. So that was like in the very, very early days. That's how escrow used to work back then, right? It was as simple and straightforward as that. So going on, we now started having like software or websites that provided escrow services. I think one of the very, very first examples of a website like that was Local Bitcoin, right? So Local Bitcoin came, and it was a very simple, like the thing about P2P trading when you want to implement it for your as a website is you don't really need to have a local, you don't really need to have a local authority to be able to set up a P2P trading platform, right? Let's say, for example, you want to set up a P2P trading platform in Malta, for example, right? You would not need to go to Malta and set up an entity there. You understand? Like you can be in the US or wherever you are and just create a P2P trading platform, and then people will just add their payment methods that are supported in that particular country. And in most countries, it's bank transfer, right? So, you just add bank transfer, and then people can start transacting with bank transfer. So we started having platforms like Local Bitcoin, and then more recently, we had platforms like B Square, and a couple of others like that recently. So, since then, it just kind of like blew up with P2P trading. So let's talk about why P2P trading is important, right? Like why is it important? Why does it even exist, right? So P2P trading is important because, there are a couple of reasons why it's a much more preferred way to trade cryptocurrencies. First of all, it's the way Satoshi Nakamoto originally envisioned Bitcoin trading, as a peer-to-peer.
Bashir, you're on mute.
Yes, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, why is important? First of all, is the way Satoshi Nakamoto, the original creator of Bitcoin, envisioned it to be used, right? That's why I titled the white paper as P2P decentralized cryptocurrency, right? And then, P2P is not also, it's not, how do I put it now? It's not tied to local currencies as much as other forms of trading, right? Like for example, when you want to use your debit card to buy cryptocurrency on any platform, there are certain limits to like how much you can purchase with your credit card in a day or in a month, but with P2P trading, it's totally up to you. How much you want to trade in a day, a week, or a month is totally up to you, right? So the transaction limits are basically limitless. There are no limits to the transactions, right? And then another key factor that makes P2P trading important is that, there are no limits to the transaction. There are no limits to the kind of payment methods you want to accept for Bitcoin. For example, if I wanted a cow for like my Bitcoin now, right? Somebody can say, okay, I have a cow, and then I can send them the Bitcoin, and then that transaction is complete. So basically, the payment methods that we have, like bank transfer, bundle, we have Cash App, we have TransferWise, we have all those other payment methods. But with traditional types of buying and selling cryptocurrencies, you do not have that kind of flexibility, that P2P, trading gives you. So, those are some of the reasons why, P2P trading is important. So, I think, Brenton, should we take a few questions before I continue? I should just go ahead.
Sure, Go ahead.
Okay. So, why not? Let's talk about the next thing I want to talk about, like, Binance P2P, right? We've talked about, how P2P trading started, right? What are some of the platforms that P2P trading that have been trading P2P, and then why is it even important? What are some of the benefits of actually doing P2P as opposed to just doing traditional ways of buying and selling? So now Binance P2P is one of the biggest P2P platforms in the world right now. Right, so we're going to talk about some of the key features of Binance P2P. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna share my screen now to share some of those very important features. Brent, I think you need to allow me to share my screen. If you can do that. Can you hear me?
That you should be able to now.
Okay. Can you see my screen now, Brent?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Fantastic. So there are a couple of new features that we've added on Binance P2P recently. And like we are always striving to like make it easier for people to use our platform. For people that are new, people that have no experience in P2P. So we have a lot of experienced P2P traders on our platform, but also people that do not have experience trading P2P. We also want them to be able to use the platform very, very easily. So that's why we have introduced some of these features on the platform. So I'm just going to go to P2P trading and show you some of these features now. So the key features I'm going to focus on today is one, express mode, and then the light mode, or Binance Lite, as a lot of people call it. So as you can see, this is the general P2P interface, right? But you have like this, this is like the general way to trade on the platform. So you come here, let's say you want to buy some USDT, for example, you'd have to like check for how much USDT you want to buy. What are some of the limits that the people that are selling USDT have set? You look for completion rate, amount of trades, all those things before you trade on the platform, right? Not all users want to go through all that, right? A lot of users just want to be able to enter the amount, select the payment method, click buy, and then buy. So that's why we've introduced these two features, like express mode and light mode. So let me just so when you open the P2P page on your mobile app, you're gonna see a drop down on your top left where you see P2P. So you just click on it, and then you see two options. You can see P2P, and then you see Express, which says which is titled one click buy or sell. So just click on that, and then it's going to show you a very simple interface. Like you can see the difference between the previous interface I just showed and this one. So let me go back to that interface again. You can see how much more complicated it looks, right? And then when you switch to Express mode, you can see how simple it is. Express mode is basically just showing you one single field. Enter the amount you want to buy. So it's a much more easier way to trade, right? So in order to buy using Express mode here, all you really need to do is first of all choose the crypto that you want to buy. Is it BTC? Is it BUSD? Is it BNB? Is it ETH? Whichever cryptocurrency that you want to buy, just select it. So and then you enter the amount. Let's say I want to buy 100 USDT, for example, and I just click buy with 0 fee.
I think we may have just lost Bashir for a second. We'll have him back in just 1 minute. While we just wait for Bashir to get back on the line, we're so sorry for that. We do have someone who I think the entire Nigerian community is very, very familiar with, who can maybe just take us through buying and selling on P2P. Ben? Hi, Ben, you're just muted. Hi guys, we are so sorry about that. We do hear you. We are just trying to reach Bashir to see exactly what has transpired. But in the meantime, although I may not be an expert, I think let me just continue with the session. So Ben, Pascal, can you just confirm that you can see my screen? Hello? Okay, it appears I am on my own. So let us check the chat. If you can see my screen. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Can rely on the users. So guys, as Bashir was saying, P2P is the original peer-to-peer sort of application of crypto in general. And the first thing you're going to have to do to use Binance's peer-to-peer service is have a Binance account, quite obviously. So we hope by this stage you've all registered your Binance account. If not, it's really simple. Just waiting for my verification code. There we go. So make sure that you have 2FA activated on your account so that it's always safe, but it's required for P2P. So the first thing we're going to walk through is if you're a new user and you've got Nigerian Naira, Kenyan shilling, South African Rand, sitting in your bank account or your M-Pesa account or whatever it may be, and you want to buy some cryptocurrency. Well, P2P is the perfect platform to do so. And all you would do is come down to buy crypto, select which currency you wanted to use. So let's say, for example, if I was from Kenya and I had some money in my M-Pesa wallet and I wanted to buy some crypto, where would I go? So you go to buy crypto, change to your local currency. If I was South African, I would put in ZIR. If I was Nigerian, I would put in NGN, and so forth. And you simply navigate down to P2P trading. And as you can see, I'm currently on the buy side and I'm on USDT. So imagine, I think the best way to think about this is in South Africa, we have Gumtree. I think one of the more famous ones is eBay. So it's like an eBay for cryptocurrency. So everybody who actually has some USDT that wants to sell it for Kenyan shilling will put up ads here saying at what price per USDT they'll sell you and what is the minimum and maximum amount you can buy from them. And then there's also the payment methods you want to use. So for example, if I only wanted to use my M-Pesa account, I could come in here and click M-Pesa. But maybe I only wanted to use a bank transfer. Well, I could come in here and click bank transfer. And as soon as I do this, it would filter to only the people who are selling for the method that I want to use to pay. Sorry, let me just move this Zoom bar. So let's just say that I wanted to buy some USDT. And just so you know, the merchants with little ticks here, or the sellers with little ticks here, are actual verified merchants with Binance. So those are the best people to buy from. And if you're from Kenya, Robocoin is one of our famous merchants. He did an amazing P2P event recently. So it's quite obvious that you could trust him. So you would go, okay, Robocoin is verified. He's got a 99% completion rate. That's good. He'll sell me USDT for 112 0.81 Kenyan shilling per USDT. I'm okay with that price. And then he'll sell me from 1,500 KES. So that's the minimum amount I can buy, all the way up to 76,000. So I simply just click buy USDT. I would say I want to buy 37,845, for example. And it'll say, okay, well, if you pay that amount in KES, you will receive 335.47 USDT. And if you're happy with that, you just click buy USDT. It'll show you Robocoin's M-Pesa details. And now I know the question on everyone's mind at this stage is, so I'm just supposed to pay him and then I'm going to get my coins. Well, as soon as you enter this transaction, so you say, I'm going to pay this amount and this is how much I want, Binance actually locks 335.47 USDT up in Robocoin's account. So he can't do anything with it. It's locked there now. And then when you click buy USDT, it'll show you his cell phone number because you can see payment method is M-Pesa. And you simply log into your M-Pesa account, pay 37,845 to whatever cell phone number you see, click confirm. And as soon as the payment is done and Robocoin receives it, he'll get a little notification from his M-Pesa account saying, oh, you've received this payment, etc., etc. And he'll go, okay, I'm happy. And he'll click release. And as soon as he does that, the second he does that, this 335.47 USDT is now in your Binance account. And it's literally that simple. And because Binance offers you this escrow service, it's 100% safe. So let's just say, for example, you were a person who had a very large amount of money that you wanted to use to buy cryptocurrency. But if you use the normal rails, there's certain daily limits you have according to your KYC tier, etc. Because P2P transactions happen between people, you're the only person who decides how much you want to transact. If you want to buy 10 million Kenyan shillings worth of Bitcoin, tomorrow you could do it. So now, before we get into more practical stuff, let me get down to the absolute best part of Binance P2P, which is why it really is the best P2P platform in the world. And that's because everything that I just showed you, and I'm going to show you, is 100% free. You never ever pay Binance 1 single cent to use the P2P platform. So if in that example I just showed you, that 37,845 that you're sending to Robocoin, he is receiving that entire amount down to the last cent and giving you crypto for that amount down to the last cent. There are 0 transaction fees. When Binance provides you that escrow service that makes sure that you have peace of mind and you're safe, that's provided by Binance 100% free. So everything you do on the Binance P2P platform costs you 0 fees, absolutely 0 fees. So you can see throughout our key African markets, we've got a number of verified merchants, which are people that we sort of know personally as the Binance team. So you can rest assured that you can be safe in trading with them and have peace of mind. But what's cool is that I selected USDT because I'm a trader and I wanted to fund my trading account. But you can also use, like I was saying, P2P to buy Bitcoin. Like I said, we've got brilliant verified merchants. You can see that you can look at the prices that people are selling at, see if they're legitimate, and actually select what price you want to buy at and what amount. Same goes for BUSD. Same goes for BNB, Ethereum, DAI. You can actually buy and sell 6 different currencies on Binance P2P, 100% free. And as far as I know, there is not another P2P platform alive that is credible that you can do that on. But maybe you are a trader, like I said, and you went and you bought your 300 USDT and you started trading on Binance futures and you made yourself a good profit, right? But now you want that profit back in your bank account, because it's no point having a profit on your Binance account because I can't really go to the shop and buy myself some cool stuff with that. So what is it that you do once you've made this profit, or you want to convert your crypto assets back into money in your bank account? It's really as simple as, so we were on the buy tab. It's really as simple as flicking over to the sell tab. So you can either sell the currency directly, or maybe, for example, you have a whole portfolio. Well, you can just trade all of those into USDT and then come here and sell that USDT for a transfer directly into your bank account, directly into your M-Pesa account, almost instantaneously, and once again, for free. So you can see that there is enough liquidity here for you. And I know at this stage, a lot of you are probably looking at the prices on the buy and sell side and thinking, there's some slight differences there. Well, that is the spread for our amazing merchants who I mentioned, like Robocoin, who actually are merchants on the Binance P2P platform. So if you have a fairly good trading history on another P2P platform or on Binance, you can apply to be a P2P merchant. And basically all you do is you buy and sell, and you add little spreads for yourself, like 1%, 1.2%. And by doing that the whole day, Binance P2P can literally become a business for yourself. So we have merchants across Africa who make upwards of 5,000 US dollars a day trading as a merchant on Binance P2P. So let's do a little recap. What can we do on Binance P2P? Well, we can buy 6 different currencies, including USDT, Bitcoin, BUSD, BNB, Ethereum, DAI, and we can sell them as well. And the methods that we can buy and sell them for are numerous, including M-Pesa, Chipper Cash, bank transfer. And I think Binance P2P has the most payment methods you can think of. So, I mean, if we even just look at this list, it's absolutely ridiculous. So however you prefer to transact, even if it's Amazon gift cards, you can find somebody who's willing to transact with you. So perhaps you think going through and looking at ads and stuff is just a little bit too complex. You just want the quick fix. Basically, you want to know, I want to buy one whole Bitcoin. That's all I want to do. Just tell me what to do. Well, you can come over to the P2P Express Zone, click buy. So you're obviously going to pay using Kenyan shillings if you're in Kenya, with NGN if you're in Nigeria, etc. And you can choose what you want to buy. So maybe I want to buy some BNB, and remember, buy with 0 fee. And you'll see the average sort of reference price here, 133,100 Naira per BNB. And I'll just say, I want to buy 100. What's a million Naira? Buy with 0 fee. And you can see, okay, they found an offer for me with a verified merchant, and he's going to sell to me at a price of 135,780 Naira each. I can just confirm, do the bank transfer, and 7.368, etc., BNB will be in my wallet the second that the seller hits confirm payment, which, like I told you, even if they don't, Binance escrow server still keeps you safe. And when you trade on the P2P Express Zone, you're only trading with verified merchants, so there is no need to stress. So I hope that this has made P2P a little bit clearer for you. I'm just taking a look through the questions to see if there's anything perhaps that we've missed. So yes, Israel, that's a great point that you make. Whether you're buying or selling, what you want to do is don't look at what's called bait prices. So maybe somebody is selling Bitcoin way cheaper than anybody else in the market. take a look at the number of completed orders and their order completion rate. If it's like 0.03%, it's quite certain that that person is a scammer. So at Binance, we do everything we can, but remember that the point of DeFi is that everybody can participate. So we don't try and strictly just cut everybody off from participating, which means that sometimes bad actors tend to get a one or two sort of ads in, now and then. But for the most part, we have methods that protect you. So if you're transacting with somebody that has an order completion rate of 90% plus, you're perfectly fine. If you're trading with a verified merchant, you're perfectly fine. So Raphael wants to know, how can one become a P2P merchant? Well, a little bit later in the session, we will drop that in the chat for you, which is the application form. But to continue answering your questions, we have someone we all know and love with us, and that is Ben. So Ben, I think we should take maybe a few live questions from the audience.
Yeah, sure, Brenton. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I couldn't turn on my mic. I was in a very noisy environment. I had to just clear out and be able to participate. Brenton, well done. Very great work you've done. I hope everybody can hear me. Before we take questions, I'd like to, give some tips. A lot of, so P2P as a system is not stereotypic. So there's a whole lot of different strategies scammers might want to come up with. And most of them are stuff that we deal with on a regular basis on our Telegram groups and, in our DMs, right? So what you should look out for, like Brenton pointed out, things that could easily showcase or that could easily show that somebody is not genuine are that they fix prices that are outrageous, right? Prices that are very, very, that can lure you into the deal, and then you get to lose out on it. I was going to share an experience with somebody yesterday or 2 nights ago at 1 a.m. in the morning. This guy was calling me, and he was like, he just sent money to somebody, and the person, he actually did not click on I have made payment, and then the transaction expired. It timed out, so it looked as though he was not willing to proceed with payment, right? Now, the good news about it was that this person who he paid to is a good person. Let's just use the word good, right? Because he was genuinely asleep. He was not even available to trade at the time. So when we began to call the guy, I called the guy, and the guy picked, and it was like, oh, he's going to send back the money. That's a story with a good ending. But there's some people that are not that nice, right? So the idea is, once you make a payment, you have fulfilled your part of the deal. The next thing you should do is monitor the transaction such that the person is expected to confirm payment within the time allocated. If the person doesn't do so, please create an appeal. That would help the escrow system lock his funds into the transaction. That is to say, you have made payment, the person has not verified the payment, that's fine. But this way, everybody's funds are held somehow. So Binance will hold the seller's funds, and the seller will hold your funds pending resolution, right? Another thing you should look out for is, some people will tell you, guys, my principle is that once you enter a deal with me, you have to pay me before I release the coins. Like, you have to release the coins before I pay you. Please, it doesn't work that way. If you are buying, you are the first to pay, because the person that's selling doesn't have access to the coins anymore. Once the person creates an ad, he doesn't have access to the coins anymore, right? So if you are buying, you have to release the money first and trust Binance escrow to hold the money on your behalf, right? On the behalf of the seller. So that's one of the things you should also look out for, don't release your assets without first confirming payment. And payment confirmation should be straight into your bank app, not even text messages, because people know how to create fake text messages. A lot of strategies around the system, right? And then proof of payment is not pictures, it's not screenshots. Proof of payment for Binance P2P is video. So if you do not receive a video proof of payment on the, maybe in your dispute, in your appeal, please don't release your funds, right? Those are like stuff you should just know as like the primary basis for releasing your assets. Yeah, so let's take questions, Brent, so that we can see if we can attend to any other questions we've not talked about.
Perfect. So if you have a question, you can just raise your hand and I'll allow you to talk. Once again, I just want to apologize for the technical difficulties earlier, and I hope you guys still managed to get a lot of value out of today's session. So Techno F1, I've seen your hand raised for a long time. So we're going to let you talk first. You've been allowed to talk. Just unmute yourself and go ahead. Techno F1, are you with us? Okay, looks like we may have to move on. William Ehian, I'm allowing you to talk. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. William?
A few of them might have raised their hand just at the beginning of the call, and maybe the answers had been provided. So maybe we should check the charts to see who is taking time.
Hello.
Hi, William. How are you?
Hello.
Hi, William. Can you hear us?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. We can hear you. What's your question?
Hello, good evening.
Go ahead, Williams. We can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Ouch. Hello. Oh.
Okay, I think he may have some difficulties. So let's check the chat. If you do have a question, please raise your hand. Zaradine, I can see you've raised it a couple times. So I'm allowing you to talk.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you. What question do you have for us?
Hello, good evening. Thank you for this wonderful presentation, and we really appreciate it. My question here is considering how people, they know how to manipulate bank transaction and then create a forged alert. So what provision the Binance made whereby when a seller appeal and then while the buyer did not supply he has made a unpack alert and sent it to the Binance as a confirmation. So what Binance can do there in order to protect the seller?
Very interesting question.
Did you get?
Yeah, I got your question. Okay. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what Binance does. Like I mentioned earlier, Binance, the proof of payment, if there's an appeal, so what we take as proof of payment is not screenshots, right? And it's not text message alerts, credit alerts from your phone. What we take is a video recording of the transaction that you carried out. So you show us a video of you logging into your app, showing us the transaction history at that time, and you show us the debit. If you are the buyer, you show us the debit. If you're the seller, you show us your credit history to see if you received any of such funds. That's the only way we authorize release of funds or, to conclude an appeal. So we don't do screenshots, and it's kind of like a manual process. So it's not like a bot is just going to pass it if somebody drops a picture. No, if you open an appeal, there will be an arbitrator that will stand between you and the other party.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for this response.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
So, like somebody just said, when you want to confirm receipt of funds, don't just confirm it via credit alert. SMSs can be fraudulent, right? What you want to look out for is this money really in my bank app? And the only way to know that is to either log in through your bank mobile app, or you use an ATM and check your credit balance, right? Or you go to the bank. So I believe all of us will have bank apps. So just log into your bank app. Your bank app cannot receive fake transactions. Once it's in your bank app, then it's definitely in your account.
Perfect. I think that actually clears it up very well. Monday, Monday Oga, you have been fervently wanting to ask a question. So we would like to oblige. Monday, you've been allowed to talk. Just unmute yourself and go ahead.
Good evening, Brenton. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Yes. All right. The question is, it's very important. Some of us actually don't actually own normal bank, normal bank, operate normal banks. So we use CUDA accounts or these microfinance banks, whereby sometimes you do transactions and names doesn't actually appear on the receipt, on the transaction history. So sometimes it gives an issue, because I personally had an issue recently. I actually sent money to one of after calling him to confirm that he's online. So probably he must have had a series of transactions that day, or probably period to, as in within the time frame we did the transaction. So like I sent money to him through PalmPay, a microfinance app online. So I did. So afterwards, I called him that I've made payment. So he was asking of the name. So I told him, okay, the apps doesn't actually display the sender's name. So it's from me. So he actually took time before I kept on calling us to check that it's from me actually. So there's a problem with that. So I would want to know if a panel was raised, as in like an appeal was raised, could that also be rectified? Could that also be rectified? I know the other person is a Nigerian, so he should know what I'm talking about. Some microfinance banks, the transaction doesn't actually display the sender's name.
I understand.
So I would want to yes. Then the second question I would want to ask is what are the key indicators that yes, you can actually trade with a particular seller, okay, with a particular seller on the what are the key indicators that would actually protect one, as in like knowing who to trade and who not to trade it. So what are the key indicators?
Okay, sure. Brent, let me jump on the two questions very quickly. So for the first question about trade using microfinance banks to make your transactions, I would like to ask a question as pertaining that. Is that the bank you registered as your primary bank in Binance?
No, not that. It's an alternative. Yes, of course. Yes. My access was sometimes actually it's slow, as in before money comes in and all that stuff like that. But PalmPay is very, very fast and efficient. So that's the reason why I use that.
Okay. So did you? So one of the why I asked that is because most of the receivers would not want to receive from any bank that is considered a third-party bank. Why? Because it could be possible that you hacked into, not you now, the other person hacked into another person's account and wants to buy Bitcoin using that person's account from me. That could put me at risk, right? Just imagine I and you have a transaction and I'm using another person's bank account to pay for what I'm trying to buy. And then the person is tracking that payment from his account to the next person's account. So many people will not want to receive from third parties' accounts. That's why they want to receive from the direct account displayed on Binance P2P. That's like the first step or first idea I wanted to just point out. But for this case where maybe the party is willing to accept from you and doesn't care, then you might just necessarily share with him that these are the challenges you might experience. You might not see my name on this transaction. this is how this transaction appear. It's more of communication. If the person is willing, you go ahead. If the person is not willing, I'm afraid you just have to cancel. But if the person doesn't so if the person cannot say he was not going to attend to the transaction, because definitely his bank account will increase. It's just that he cannot track that from you, right? So that will just cause unnecessary delay. We will still rectify the issues, but it will cause unnecessary delay. So what we advise is that, and then you might be at a loss, because our principle is that send from the account you registered with us. Don't send from third-party accounts, right? So if the person wants to play a fast one on you, he could successfully do that using that as an excuse. Do you get?
Okay.
So
yes, I get it.
The second question, could you just point it out again?
I was saying, what are the key indicators for, as like, if you wants to actually trade with any of the sellers online? So what are the key indicators one must look at for before trading that as to be on the safer side?
Very good, very good. Like Brenton mentioned just before I came on, the first thing you want to look out for is the price the person is fixing. If the price is like looking like a bait, like a price bait to lure greedy people, you don't want to be a part of such category, right? Then you want to look out for the amount of trades this person has completed in line with the percentage, the number of trades he has undertaken, and percentage completion. So why I don't really believe those are enough reasons to go into a trade is because most of the time, we are onboarding new people, right? And all of them want to trade. You don't know who is scam or who is genuine. So you might just filter out some good set of people because they don't have a reputable number of trades, right? Meanwhile, you don't know that you are delving into the den of the lion because you see somebody that has 500 trades and 80% completion. Sometimes these guys just, trade amongst themselves, create orders themselves so that it will look as though they have high number of trades, and then they will use it to scam. I can assure you, we deal with a few issues online because the only people they can get is the newbies. That is why we put up these classes to reiterate the point, to get our people to be familiar with the system. So don't be in a hurry to trade. Don't be in a hurry to close a supposedly sharp deal, right? Be more concerned about communicating with the person. So try and establish communication with the person and tell the person, guy, what's up? Some of them I don't even want you to call them because they are doing so many deals. But once you see somebody that is genuine, you would actually know. If you see somebody that tells you, release the money before I release the assets before I confirm, that person is actually trying to bend our rules, and the person is going to be supposed to be reported. So if you see somebody like that, please always report them on TG, send them to us, and we'll block them immediately. We've done so, we'll continue to do so.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, please. I have one more question, please. Brinton was saying, because the network was bad then, he was saying something about how to make money from trading on, I think it's Express, something like that. So the network was bad. We couldn't. It wasn't audible enough, so we weren't hearing what he was saying. So I think I would need I think I would need him to throw more light on that, so I would understand how that can be done.
Sure. Hi, Brenton, go ahead.
Hi, yes, Monday. So I think you just mixed the two together, but maybe it's because I was breaking up. So merchants can make money on P2P, by buying and selling and adding a small spread. And then P2P Express Zone, I said, is if you don't feel like going through all of that headache of looking at ads, etc., you can just, immediately buy or sell using the P2P Express Zone.
So it's like the upgrade of P2P. P2P Express doesn't allow you to do all those filtering. You just come online, specify how much you intend to spend on the trade, and then it will filter the best available price for you and match you to somebody that is ready to complete that trade immediately.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brinton. Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
It's an absolute pleasure, Monday. So Ben, I know we've also got David who wanted to ask a question. So David Dosa, I am allowing you to talk. Just unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Hi, David. Yeah, you.
Hello. Good evening. I'm very grateful to be online with you. Hello.
Sure, David. Go ahead. We can hear you.
So, P2P advert setting. So, the most of the time, if I want to add a part, I saw some routing, automatic routing. I forgot.
Automatic routing.
Yes. So I have problem in setting of the advert. So
Okay.
how to put the price out?
Brenton, could you make me host?
Because I'm just.
Let me share my screen.
Hello.
Absolutely, I'm on that now.
Yeah. So David, I'll just show it to you very quickly. And
okay,
you're not too familiar with the system. What we advise you to do is just one moment. What we advise you to do, if you're not too familiar with the system, is use the Express P2P, like Brenton just shared with you, right?
Okay.
Just one moment.
What I want to know is that how to set advert on my own.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Can you see my final screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to set an advert? Let me see.
Yes.
So let's say you have. Why is this hidden? Let me open it. Let's say you have USDT that you want to sell, right? You want to sell it.
Oh yeah.
You click on sell.
Yeah.
It brings you to this dashboard, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, there are two ways to go about this, right? You come over here. David, could you just mute for like 2 minutes so that by the time I'm done explaining, you pick everything? I think there's some noise at your end. Okay, cool. So you are coming, if you want to use P2P to set your order, you can come here and click on post new ad, right? To create an ad. Now, Brenton got a question about becoming a merchant. If you come to more on your system, you can click here to become a merchant, right? Just apply, and within 2 weeks, we'll be able to verify you, right? Some other frequently asked questions are here. So everything you need is actually here. Now, if you click on post new ad, you'll be able to start the process, right? You set your nickname. Let me say Ben. Let me see if that works. Okay. Yeah. So you see, it's easy to understand. The first step is to determine what you want to do, to buy or to sell. For me, I want to sell because I have USDT. So you toggle to I want to sell. And then what asset do you want to sell? I want to sell USDT and I want to get paid in Naira, right? I don't want to get, so if you're in Kenya, you want to get paid in the Kenyan shillings, in Ghana cedi, and in South Africa, the ZAR, right? The rand, yeah. So you want to get paid in Nigeria for you, right? So let's click Nigeria. So what price are you looking at? Let me see. So sometimes the price range are like just fixed for you, but some people can go ahead to, so if you want to fix it yourself, you toggle on fix and then you fix, let's say I want to sell at 500. 500. Oh my goodness. Right? So I want to sell at 500. So this is my price. This is the lowest order for now. So if you leave it at floating, it will give you a price range, a healthy price range for your sell order. But if I click, maybe I want to sell at 500, those people that set 1,500, they actually do it from here. Those people that they say they want to buy Bitcoin at 1,500, they will come here and make. So when you see 1,500, you'll be feeling like, this guy wants to pay 1,500 for $1. Let me sell to him. By the time you go and click to sell to this kind of person, this person will scam you. Will tell you, please release the asset before I pay. That is how my principle is. But newsflash, it's not the person's company, it's Binance, right? So you want to be able to set, either you leave it as floating to give you like a price range in the recent times, and then you just click next, right? Then I'm not even sure I'll be able to set this completely because I don't have any funds in my account. So you now impute the amount of USD you want to lock. You want us to lock. Let's say you have $100. You want to lock for this for this trade, right? Then you click the order limit, shows you the least amount you want to sell for this trade. So let's say I have $1,000, right? And the least amount I want to sell from my $1,000 is like 50,000 naira. So if you don't have up to 50,000 naira, you'll not be able to click on my deal. If you don't want to buy at least 50,000 naira and above, this is why you have the order limit. Then I'll now add payment options, right? Let me see. If I add the bank payment options, it will include my banking details that I registered Binance with. Then the payment time limit is the amount of time I'm expecting to receive payment. So if you don't pay me, if you cannot pay me within, let's say I fix it as 15. If you cannot pay me within 15 minutes, don't take my deal, because my timeout, the deal will time out in 15 minutes. So I click on next, I will drop remarks, right? I can inform you and say, please do not include, I can just send a message to you for my remarks, and I can send an auto reply also. So those guys that are scamming are using most of these options to deceive you, as if it is Binance that sent you that mail or that message. Most of the time it's not so, right? So by the time you're done with fixing all of this, you might not even need to touch all of this. You just post it. So this is very important. Status, very, very important. If you click on offline status, somebody that is coming to close a deal with you will not be able to see you to pay. But if you have to leave it online, right? And then your deal, let me see if I can. I'm not sure I'll be able to set this because I don't have NGN in P2P. So this is exactly what it is. By the time I get to this point, just click on confirm post, and the order will be set for you. I even posted though. I successfully posted. Sure, you get. So let me see. My order is even published. That means, yeah, I have set a buy order as it stands, right? So you can actually do it through, now this is long process, but you can actually use Express to complete your order, right? You can actually use Express to complete to set an order. So you just click on Express, put the amount you want to buy, then it will automatically give you an amount, a range you can receive. And then you click on buy, you will now get matched automatically. So these things are like very easy. Follow the step-by-step guide to be good. That's basically what you need. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, I'm absolutely sure it did, Ben. That was a very, very in-depth explanation.
Sure.
I think we have time for one last question. So if you have a question, okay, let's see, we have to go with Israel. Israel was quick. So Israel, give me 1 second. Israel, you can now talk. Just unmute yourself and go ahead with the last question.
Okay, so I actually have, can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay, I actually have two questions. The first one is about the volatility. So suppose you buy or you sold at a certain price. And what concerns me is that maybe like BTC, the price may rise very quickly before you're able to, you may have to buy back in at a higher price than you sold. Is there any way to, do you guys have any tactics like to help with that? And my second question is on Express. When you set an order to buy or to sell on Express, who on the back end, who actually sells or buys for that order? Is it Binance, or do you have certain third-party like buyers and sellers that you funnel that to?
Okay, so for your first question is quite simple. and easy. We actually, you trade on amount, not on the asset price. You trade on the amount of the asset available. So let's take, for instance, you want to trade one BTC. One BTC could be $60,000 today and $48,000 next week. And then within the period where you lock a deal, the asset is ranging in price upward or downward. What is only available to be bought is that one BTC. So if the person buys one BTC and the confirmation time spans longer than necessary, what the person is going to get in his account is one BTC. So we trade on the
Hello,
asset.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
My question is a little bit different. My question is like, we are trying to buy it and sell it to make the profit.
Mm-hmm.
So suppose we buy BTC, let's say when it's like 59,000, or we sell it when it's like 59,000, and we want to buy back below that 59,000. But by the time we come to buy back, the price has moved. That's my major concern. Within that trade, I know they will not affect it, but we complete one trade, we come back to realize that margin, and the price has moved to make it unprofitable. Do you guys have any tactics, or what would you do in that kind of situation?
Okay, I get you now. Honestly, we cannot influence the market because the prices are determined by sellers, right? Buyers and sellers. So in fact, price movement there is where the other party gains. So let's take, for instance, like you said, you're coming back to buy back. Is the person who has now that is now influencing the price, right? Doesn't mean the person should fix an outrageous price, but if it's still within range, you will have to now make your selection. So if the current express price doesn't favor you, then you might have to do your filtering. But then again, you have to then be sure that whoever you are dealing with is good to go. But we cannot influence the price. Yeah.
On the second question, the express question.
Yeah, please just reiterate. I was about jotting it down. What was the question?
Okay, so on the express question, on the express screen, when you place the order, who completes that order? Is it Binance, or is there a third party? How? Because it looks very simple, but I'm just curious about what happens on you guys' end.
Yeah, so we it's actually an algorithm, right? It's we cannot say it's just persons who are merchants that are given to trade in this region, right? It's actually an algorithm. So what happens is we get you the best trade, the best person for that trade at a particular time. Now we started off with matching you or pairing you up with merchants that we have verified. So you see those guys that have badges by their name. Most of them are not creating ads right there, right? But because they are merchants, they can easily get access to, so this is like our strategy to help completion rate to increase on Binance P2P. So we put together those guys that are verified merchants. We have their KYC, we know them down to their houses, and we expect that they cannot defraud our guys, right? So those are the guys we push up front using the express zone.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just lastly, there was somebody from Kenya that was asking a question about whether M-Pesa is still, whether you can still use it on Binance. I don't know if that question was answered. That's all.
Yeah, Brenton, do you want to jump on?
Yeah, sure, perfect. So I'll jump in there. So in terms of being able to utilize it for P2P, it's still 100% functional. It's just as a deposit method. So to top up your cash wallet on Binance, it's just temporarily suspended. So it will come back soon. But M-Pesa still works perfectly fine for P2P, just not to top up your cash balance on Binance. So guys, I think, we've had a brilliant and very fruitful session today. Remember that day one, which was yesterday, creating NFTs, doing yield farming, is all available on the Binance YouTube channel. And today is also available on the Binance YouTube channel. So if you need to go back and just recap on anything, just feel free to catch that recording, and we will send that recording to all of you in all of our communities. So make sure you're a part of the Telegram communities, the Facebook communities. Brilliant. So just as a final reminder before myself and Ben say goodnight, make sure that over the next week, you fill in that competition form. And let me just drop it one more time. And remember, there is $5,000 in Trust Wallet token up for grabs. All you have to do is make 5 withdrawals of any amount of any token on the Binance Smart Chain network between your Binance account and your Trust Wallet. So let me give you an example. Let's just say I buy 5 BUSD, or I get 5 BUSD, and I would draw it $1 at a time on the BEP20, the Binance Smart Chain network, so BEP20 BSC version. If I get $5 and I would draw it $1 at a time to my Trust Wallet, that qualifies me. And then I just take the transaction hash from each of those transactions, add it to the Google form, and you will be done. So from me, thank you so much for joining us on both days. Get the recap. And Ben, do you have any final words for our amazing participants today?
Yeah, sure, Brenton. I wanted to just say hi and appreciate them for joining us, and also ask that they join our local Telegram groups. We do what we call the open mic series, where we allow participants share their experiences on the P2P network and on our platform as a whole. And we also, take feedback from there to make sure the platform is better. So join us on Telegram, and you'll be glad you did. Cheers, guys.